Historic Cooktown is a small frontier town located in the far north of tropical North Queensland with a unique character based on years of geographic isolation. Renowned for its rich Aboriginal culture and pioneering past, this small, friendly coastal town holds a unique place in Australia's history as the site of the country's first non-Indigenous settlement. Discovered and settled by Captain Cook, his crew spent 7 weeks on the site of the present-day Cooktown, repairing their ship, replenishing food and water supplies, and caring for their sick and injured. In the past, Cooktown could only be accessed by four-wheel drive vehicles, but with the completion of the Seal Cooktown Development Road in 2006, it is now more accessible to everyone to discover and enjoy.
When Captain Cook sailed into Cooktown in 1770, the town that honours his name, I bet he had no idea of the incredible black marlin fishing that takes place outside the Great Barrier Reef. If only the Endeavour had some outriggers and a sounder, imagine the fun they would have had. Fortunately today, I'm not on the Endeavour, I'm on Calypso, and my captain isn't Captain Cook, but he is very famous in the fishing world, Captain Tim Dean. So Tim, you're fishing out the back of the Great Barrier Reef today. What section are you actually fishing?
We're on the top of number 7 ribbon, which is northeast of Cooktown. It's around 40 miles south of Lizard Island.
It's a pretty serious office you have out here.
Oh, it's a good part of the world, mate. You're sort of on the coalface out here.
So how many days a year do you actually get out and fish this area, or from Cairns to
A good
Cooktown?
season up here would be 80 days, and back to back. Yeah,
Back to
80
back.
days. Every day, in at the end of each week, change over, whether it be Cairns or Cooktown or Lizard Island. Fly people in and out of those places, or they can drive into Cooktown now.
So you got in at 6:30 last night. We left at 8:30 this morning. I'm sure you had to buy food, wash the boat. How do you put up with it for 80 days?
Oh, the service is pretty good in there in Cooktown. Everyone knows that we're up here for the season and they support us, and as we do them. We store up with our groceries and whatnot. That can be delivered to the dock. Your fuel's there, your water, your laundry load is there. Everything gets done overnight and you're back out here in the briny the very next day.
Back into it now. Obviously the fish that we are chasing is the black marlin, and this area probably holds the biggest black marlin in the world.
Every year in Cairns, or the Great Barrier Reef up here in the northern section, there's giant black marlin caught. It's consistent year in, year out, and has been for the last 42 years. There's no other place in the world like it, simply for the fact that there's giant black marlin here every year.
Yep. And when we're talking giant black marlin, obviously with snapper, it's a 20-pound snapper. With brim, it's like 4 pound. The kilo King George whiting. What is the mark on the giant black marlin?
It's 1,000 pounds. That's what everyone's here to see or catch, let go. You know, that's the magical figure up here.
So this is game fishing Great Barrier Reef style out of Cooktown. About an hour and a half to the reef, we've now come outside the reef to deep water. We're fishing here because the current is pushing against an edge and hopefully pushing bait up, which will attract the big fish. And our crew, our wonderful crewmen, both Muzz and Corey, have set up our spread for these big black fish. We've got a skip bait over here and a swim bait over here, and Captain Tim is basically going round and round trying to persuade these fish to come up from the depths and eat our offerings. It's late in the afternoon, a lot of these bites take place in this afternoon sun, so hopefully you're going to see some pretty serious marlin action out of Cooktown. What depth of water are we fishing and what are we actually trying to do?
Well, right now we've got a run-in tide. I can just take you through sort of why we're fishing the top of number 7 here. There's a big ridge that runs out and it drops from around 60 metres, 70 metres, down to about 400 in the space of maybe 500 metres distance. It's pretty well a sheer wall. The tide running in on that, all the bait stacking up on that edge, and the big fish or small fish, you know, they'll be all stacking up there, feeding on each other and whatnot. So this tide's pushing in for about another 2 hours here, so we're going to flog it out and see how we go.
So the tide hits that wall,
Yep.
and it pushes water up,
Yep.
and with it brings food.
All on that pressure face, it's where all the bait will gather. That's pretty well how the reef works up here. Any pressure face is where your fish are going to be. You know, that's pretty well all fishing in the world.
Yep.
You know, fish on your pressure faces. your mackerels, your dogtooths, your tunas, they're all going to sit there, and hence the big marlin come in on them.
So we've got 2 baits in the water. Why 2 baits? So some people think, oh, I'll put 6 in the water, I've got a better chance of catching one.
If you see a big one come and eat when they really want to, she'll get 6 before you get to that rod.
Oh, you'll eat all 6?
Oh, they'll go on. Yeah, they'll eat the big bait and then come in, follow the scad. A big black marlin feeding, you know, you want to deal with them one at a time. We'll take 2, but one at a time will do, mate. Sure.
Just one at a time.
This is the way people have been fishing up here for the last 40 years. You know, it works now, it worked then. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. Sure, technology gets a bit better, but the basics are the same. A swim bait, a skip bait. You know, you might have a lure fishing day now and then where the reef edge is quiet, but nothing much changes up here. That's what's good about the place.
I like the call by Muzz. You just got something small in here. Well, guess what? Yes, it's small, but I'm still struggling to wind the handle. Unfortunately, this heavy gear is very hard to catch small fish on because it basically just knocks the fish over, but there's a bit of weight there, and weight may mean bait, may also mean dinner. There's a bit of weight on it.
You should, might as well
go to the chair.
Yeah, he's gonna, here we go.
There's a bit of weight here.
Get in the chair.
Okay, the fish is growing. I'm moving to the chair. Thanks, Muzz. That's better.
Shark.
Oh. Well, that is not what we're looking for. White tip reef shark. I must say, just a little fish. That little where I come from, but it's not what we're after, so we're gonna let it go. Try and get back to this marlin bite. Well, it's very exciting times. Tim just called me out of the cabin where I was having a little rest and said, Paul, get on the back deck. He's marked a fish, and that means the depth sounder has actually seen a marlin. It's a big fish, you can tell. And the boys, the crew, they're actually noticing a bit of surface activity. We've got a tide change coming up. Everything's starting to happen. So this is when we keep an eye on the water, because this is when that big fish could come up. And I am very, very excited.
All right, there he is on the left. Nice fish. There he goes. Wind it up, get it on the surface. He's on you, Corey. He's on you, get ready. Ready?
Oh!
Got weight there? Okay, yep, good. Good. Well done.
Okay. Yep. Turn the chair to the middle, that's it. Thanks, mate. I'm going to struggle to talk because I just got to wind Timmy's backing down this fish. He saw it. It is a marlin, and I just need to put some pressure on me.
Steady.
So
Go hard there, mate.
That's it.
Lift you, wind yourself up in the chair there, Paul.
That's better.
That's fishing. Let's get rid of those thongs off you, mate. If you don't mind.
All good, thank you. Skipper's given the call, the thongs are off.
And left hand on that reel all the time.
Thanks, Timmy. They're telling me to keep my left hand on the reel, and that is in case this line breaks. It's 130-pound IGFA line. If that line breaks, this reel will come and break my nose. I'm sure a few people wouldn't mind seeing that, but I don't like the blood rule. Look at this. This fish is literally pulling you out of the chair.
Straighten your legs up, mate. That's it.
My right arm's hanging on. I'm using my body weight.
Here we go.
All 80 kilos.
Here
Yes,
we go.
Christy, I'm lying. All 80 kilos to put pressure on this fish. Timmy is just pushing Calypso back into this sea.
Cut off. Hop out, mate, hop out. Get out of the road there.
Look at this for a fish. Come around here, TK, come around here.
Get around there quick.
Look at this fish. It's a monster.
Get out of there, guys.
That is just gold. Look at him back there. Big black marlin, Timmy Dean Calypso. I'm going to say I love your work. Round this side, boys. Timmy, round the side, Dan.
Here we go, get up.
Look at that.
That's a short one.
Woohoo! Look at that circle hook right in the corner of the jaw. And that's what marlin fishing's all about.
Beautiful work.
How big's this fish, you reckon, Muzz?
650.
Yeah, 650,
600.
700. Let him go.
Pounder, mate.
650 pounds of black marlin.
Let him go.
Nice
There she
work.
goes. Away she goes. Woo!
Well done, mate.
Yeah, baby!
Yeah.
Timmy! Woo!
Well done, boys.
There's a bit of water balloons, I can help with that. But who cares? That's 650 pounds of Macaira indica. I've had a shower, but it's all good. GBR, you beauty! Well, not more than 200 yards where we slept the night. The old hydro magnum went out and the rod just kept going bend, bend, bend. And just look at this for a fish. That has got to be the best fish I've caught after having my breakfast for quite a while. Thank you, Corey. Look at that. That is a coral trout. I've got to say, one of the best coral trout I've caught in a long, long time. Obviously, sitting down on the reef, you come up and swallow that hydro magnum. And the great news is, I've just finished breakfast, caught my dinner. That is a very, very cool surprise. Now, there's a small problem you get on the east coast of Australia called ciguatera, and it comes from red fish eating the coral and they actually get the poison. Now, if you get ciguatera poisoning from eating these fish, you'll be a very, very unhappy boy for a long, long time. We've decided this coral trout is too big to eat because the bigger the fish is, the more chance of ciguatera poisoning. So I'm actually just swimming it now. We're going to let him go. This is one trout's lucky, lucky day. Worked our way through the passage between the reef and out into open water. What we're doing this morning, we're trolling up the outside of the reef, that's the east side, and we're working our way to the number 10 Ribbons Reef. It's the biggest of all the Ribbons Reefs, and as Tim told me over dinner last night, it is the marlin factory. He reckons that's where they make them, and that's where the big girls hang out. So we're heading that way, we're doing a bit of trolling. Not only does it conserve a bit of energy and fuel, but we also get the opportunity to catch some dinner and some baits. How's this beautiful little mackerel we caught just as we come out the passage? It just couldn't help itself with my little redhead hydro magnum. So Mars, a bit better fish.
It's a nice first run there, Paul. Had the reel screaming.
Now I'm a bit confused because you went into the cabin to get a gimbal belt for me and I turned around and you had this rod in your hand. Are you like Lightning McQueen?
You got to be quick around here, mate.
I assume you don't get a chance to get a rod in your hands too often, Muzz, because you're always helping other people catch fish?
Not very often.
Ooh.
We got a nice big bait there.
Shark mackerel, is it?
That it is.
And that is a very, very good marlin skip bait, is it? Thank you very much,
That
Corey.
is.
Look at the size of that.
That's a beauty. And
you don't eat these fish?
We don't. They are edible fish, but we prefer to tow them for a giant black marlin.
Awesome. Well, bait it is.
That it is.
He's on you, Mud, double header. Push it up, Corey. I don't know, it's just nice and steady, Corey. Same one come in there. You got him on there, you're going to get him on. Tiny. He's still there. Get a scat on the spin rod, guys, or something. There he goes again. Film the bait. Got it that time. Push it up. Push it up. He's just dragging the bait. Push it up.
Oh, look at that. I think he fell off, did he?
Yeah.
That is a tiny little black. Tiny fish, we saw it up on the bridge. He's only about 4 feet long. When we're fishing for marlin that are that wide across the eyes, so he physically couldn't get that bait down his gob. So we're trying to get the baits in and then maybe pitch him a small bait because we'd love to catch him just to show you how cool these fish are. And it's interesting, he would have probably been a little boy. Marlin, you can get them from 10 kilos all the way through to 700 kilos. Amazing fish.
On the left. Righto, yeah. Going to the scad. Now we got action.
That's a big fish.
Hold her on. Grunter. Big enough. Real big.
This is one big fish. I saw it come up on the bait. Pulling me right out of the chair. The conditions are just unbelievable. What a beast. I just saw the dorsal come up and then the short but stiff bill. And you see, it's lifting my entire body weight out of the chair. I've got to keep my legs locked, pull back with all my might and then wind forward. Oh, how's that for power? 130 pound line. The drag is set at 1/3 the breaking strain, so you're looking at around 40 pounds, 45 pounds of drag, and he's taking line quite easily. I'm taking a deep breath. Oh, I cannot get a wind. Now, these are the moments you live for if you love catching big game fish.
There's colour, mate. You're really close. Doubles out of the water, Paul. Short pumps.
Whew. I can see the fish. She's only about 15 foot down. See the line's just ticking off. There's nothing I can do at this stage to put plenty of pressure on with my entire body weight. Just try and lift her up. And when I say her, it will be a girl because all the big black marlin are female. They actually grow at a similar rate to the males and they just take off. And based on catches from the Japanese longlining fleet through this area and also charter boats, 11% of the catch approximately is female, the other 89% male. Here she comes.
So when I get hold of the leader there, Paul, just leave a little slack behind my gloves.
Yep. Just keep taking up the slacks. You got a small loop.
Yep. So if he decides to take off, it's not tight behind my hand and I can let him go.
Any other tips as you get a big fish close like this, Muzz?
Just back the drag off a little too once I get the leader. Keep your left hand on the reel, that's a tip.
As I nearly went over the side.
Yes, hold on with your right hand, mate.
Just try and increase that angle. You'll see the angle of the line in the water there's about probably 45 degrees, 50 degrees. The smaller that angle, the easier it is for us because we can then back on the fish. When I say we, I say Tim. See how that angle's increasing or decreasing? Now Tim goes back.
Here we go.
And I can get line.
Wind hard, Paul. Wind hard, mate. He's right there. Right there, doubles coming up. Short pumps, short pumps.
That little mark is our double, Muzz.
Oh, so close. The double was right out of the water there, Paul.
And how long is that double? Is it just short enough to whack the wind on leader on?
That double is about 8 foot long.
Yep.
Then we have 12 foot wide on leader and 18 foot from there for the fish.
Right around the money, probably just over a grand, you know, really big fish.
So the plan is get her in as quick as I can?
Quick as we can, mate. Big fish like this is sort of up to her at the moment.
Well, in the words of my good friend Eric Atkinson, I'm trying! I'm trying!
Try harder.
I've got every bit of weight and pressure on this fish I can. Locked legs.
There's your rod tip coming up.
Okay, Timmy's just told me to go to a one-to-one retrieve. It's much like riding a bike when you're in high gear. You do well on the flat, but you're going to always struggle when you hit a hill. Well, this fight's just hit a hill. I think that hill's Mount Everest. So I've gone one-to-one. You can see I can now wind and just get one pump at a time. Now, on big fish like this, we literally say just an inch at a time.
That's 50 metres to go.
Beautiful.
You keep that pressure up there, mate. Going hard there, that's good.
Fish is coming up for you there, Paul.
Beautiful. If it goes much longer, I'll be coming up for the fish. I'm going to need to explain it's about 35 degrees, 98% humidity, and not a breath of wind. It's making the job all that more pleasurable. Whoa! For those who are wondering, I'm not actually tied into this chair. I'm only tied into the rod, which is why the knuckles on my right hand are very white.
Use your body, mate. Wind yourself up.
And back down the other reel.
He hasn't even started with you yet. The wahoo just here. Get that peg marker up out of the water. See him there?
Yeah, I see him.
You don't want that peg marker.
There's a wahoo just out there. We don't want him to bite our line. Look at the size of that. See the wahoo there, TK? 6 foot behind the boat.
Got a leader. Just cross these chains over.
Yeah, he's too far away. It always is when the pressure comes on.
Just cross the chains over, undo them.
Watch the rod there, push it in the middle.
Stand yourself up.
That's it. Whoa, grab it. Okay, that's a bit shorter.
Hand on the reel.
There you go.
see her again.
There's the double, mate. She's right here. Look out.
Bit of fun for the angler.
Coming this way.
Just hold on to her there, Mars.
Yep.
She'll come out. Back to drag off.
Drags off. Hold on, Muzz.
Well done.
Do they have a spew bucket on this boat? One of the greatest angling experiences of my life. I feel like I'm seasick, but I'm tipping by that I'm not. And I just had an out-of-body experience. I actually thought I was dreaming. At one stage, a dream turned into a nightmare, and then I saw that massive fish. Thank you for everyone who's followed me on this journey, because one day I dreamed I might catch a billfish, but never one that big. Holy snapping black marlin. Now, we got an amazing look at that fish, those jumps early, some just staggering underwater footage by my good mate Daniel Jans. He's my underwater marlin man. And the reason we didn't hang on to it for ages is because that fish is so big. If we let her go and she's not 100%, there's big tiger sharks here, they may eat her. I actually think I might have seen a few grazers from some fish on the side of her. I'll check the underwater footage later. But they are like foxes of the sea. There's a sailfish tagged off Hamilton Island many years ago, and on the release card it said, "Fish is dead, floating upside down and bleeding." It did that after they let it go. 2 years later, it turned up off Hamilton Island, and some anglers caught it. The other research with sonic tag shows that marlin like that will turn, go down about 30 fathoms, that's 60 metres in the old scale, and they'll just sit there for a couple of hours sulking, get their energy back, get rid of any lactic acid, then they'll cruise away, and those sonic tags gave us really good data. And the fish that was tagged and covered the most distance, and I'm pretty sure this is right, 7,992 kilometres in less than 360 days, and that's assuming it went in a straight line. Judging by the way that fish fought, there's no straight lines. I went to a concert once, and the big man was up the front singing and he thanked his band. Well, I would also like to thank these guys, because without them, you don't catch fish like that. Muzz the legend, he was on the trace. Corey flew all the way from the other side of the world to help. Dan, my underwater man. Peter, my above cameraman, who I hope got those jumps, so I'm gonna have to strangle him. My great producer, Michael Dickinson, and the guru. Now, God always sits above. Well, that's where he is today, Timothy Dean. How big, Timmy?
It was probably 1,050, mate.
Tim, you make a living taking people to fulfil their ultimate fishing dream. The other day you said it's like the Everest of angling. Now I understand, mate.
Oh, you do now. Yeah, that was a big, tough fish for sure, Paul.
And how I saw the bite, it was just insane. And those 3 or 4 jumps here, how's the girth of those fish?
Fish that size, you know, lots have been measured over the years, and you know they're in excess of 11 feet short length from the bottom of the bottom jaw to the centre of the tail, and their average girth of fish that big, you know, up around 1,000 is, you know, over 6.5 feet girth. So it's really a lot of big fish there.
Just insane. And now you told me something else before. The biggest marlin ever caught anywhere in the world during a tournament was on your boat. Tell me about that fish.
2001, right here where you caught that big fish. We caught a fish, and back then you could weigh a fish in the tournament, and we did, and that fish went 1,280 pounds.
That is just insane.
A lot of big fish are caught on number 10 ribbon. It's the place you come to fulfil that dream, like you've just done, mate. Well done.
Timmy, you're a champion. There's going to be a lot of people watching this around Australia, hundreds of thousands. Some of you will be fisher people, and you'll be thinking, as that fish come out of the water, that's what I want to do one day. But Tim, you must get a lot of anglers who just think, I want to do that because that looks like fun.
Oh, we do, and we get people that, you know, they work all year just to come up and do a few days. It's a special part of the world. You know, there's a lot of good operations up here where people can come and fish. And as you've seen, when you put the time in, you know, you get the result.
Well, there was a movie once on TV called Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. And the line that movie was, build it and they will come. If you want to build it, talk to Tim Dean, because he's got the Ark, the beautiful Calypso, and he will find you the monster fish in the sea. Now, Tim, you're a big scary man, and I could die for doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well done. No, dude, I'm going back up the tower.
Well, they say timing is everything, and for once I got my timing right, because we've just come back to Cooktown and it is blowing a dog off a chain. Out there we had glass, calm seas, and I've had a few days to sit back and think about what just took place. Let me just say I can't believe it. That 650-pound black, its shoulders were this wide, and then to see the grander, that fish flying through the air effortlessly. What power they must have in that caudal fin to get up there where we can see them just shooting for the stars. I am truly blessed, such a lucky man to have had that fish on the end of my line. You know what? I support catch and release. That big girl is still out there. She's got your name on her. Catch up with Timmy, because one day you two might have a date.